This is Domingo from the Bronx, USA. My story begins with my mother meeting her first husband. She was in a very abusive relationship, to the point that if she didn't pick up the phone by the third ring, that he would come and just physically abuse her daily. He finally left her life, but then she met my father. And my father was no better. I mean, he was a womanizer. He had 20 kids by 3 different women. And he introduced her to Santeria, which is a form of Caribbean witchcraft. And she really went deep into it. I mean, I remember participating. She took us to one of these ceremonies. It was a very scary experience. You see red room, people dancing, blood. It was terrifying as a child. And she was finally taken away from us by the police because she had candles all over the front of the window, and for a month she was receiving electroshock treatment. She finally was returned to us, and she was fine for a few weeks, but the medication wore out and it just got worse. You know, she was eating walls, and she used to make these phone calls to Puerto Rico that squandered our resources. She received welfare, and by the end of the month we didn't have anything. Me and my siblings had to go to this grocery store, the bodega, and beg for food just to survive. I remember going to school, and the kids used to tease me and my family because we didn't have we only had 3 pairs of pants. I remember in high school I was wearing these pants that were too short because they were like years old, and they teased me, and I finally dropped out because of all the insults. And my view of God during that time was, there can't be a God. How could God place innocent children in a situation like this? We didn't do anything to deserve it, and I didn't want nothing to do with God, and I became an atheist because the evidence said otherwise. But one day, out of curiosity, I saw a Billy Graham crusade on TV. I've heard about him, and I was like, you know, let me give him a shot. And he spoke about Jesus. I knew about Jesus, but I never understood why he died. And when Mr. Graham gave the gospel, it really convicted me of my sin, and also it showed me that the love of God, that God was with me throughout, from even before I was born. And because of that, it's been 30 years since I first believed, and I got a beautiful wife. I got 3 wonderful children, and all that happened in my childhood is the total opposite. God reversed that curse that I grew up with, and because of what Mr. Graham did in giving the gospel to me, my heart is to give it to those who are also suffering. I know of many people who are going through the same or worse, and my desire is to give them that word of hope, that word of life, that they too can believe and experience the love and the blessings of God. And my testimony is, if God could do it to me, he could do it for you. And God will change what you've been in and demonstrate his love if you just put your hope on the Lord Jesus Christ.
Very good, yeah. I think this one was